I decided to sell drugs. I decided to sell crack cocaine.
Here we go again with the lying ass motherfuckers. Jada Pinkett Smith is back at it again, embarrassing her husband for some clout. It looks like she got some sort of book or whatever coming out, so you know what that means. It's time to say some shit to get people talking, so here we are. But honestly, I'm done defending Will this time around. Alright, so we're gonna run through this video, right? And pay attention to how many buzzwords and phrases she uses throughout this entire interview.
I don't want to share all of this and not also share some breadcrumbs along the way of how I got through. Just having that little glint of light at the end of the tunnel, whatever somebody else's tunnel might be. And I have parents that were addicted to drugs. You don't know how to create healthy boundaries, to create healthy relationships. Your parents don't have to be perfect, but to just always remind you that you are lovable and you're worthy.
You see, I can subscribe to that because there's a lot of people out here dealing with their parents' trauma, so I get it.
When I was coming up, the drug dealers were the ones that had affluence. The drug dealers were the ones that had money. My mother was not doing well. She was a high-functioning heroin addict, but nonetheless, we didn't have the things that we should have. Like, I just wanted more financial freedom. I decided to sell drugs. I decided to sell crack cocaine.
You may have been for the streets, but you wasn't outside.
Stop the cap.
I'd run into Will a million times, and he really tried it for years. And I didn't even recognize that, right?
Wait a minute. But if that's true, that means that Will was probably stepping out on his first wife. See? I'm done defending this dude for real.
And he was divorcing. And he says, "Are you seeing anybody now?" And I'm like, "No." He's like, "Good. You seeing me?" I was like, oh. Had to clutch my pearls. I was like, you know, that kind of assertiveness can be a little sexy, you know? And so I was like, oh, wow. And he's like, hit me when you get to LA. Click. And I was like, whoa. Okay. And so when I got to LA, I called him and we went out, and I haven't been able to get rid of him since. One thing that I knew was that it was very important for us to have a friendship. To say at 25 and 28 years old in Tinseltown, till death do us part, and you think that there is not going to be, you know,
some thotting, some hoeing,
straying eyes. To me, that just wasn't, that didn't seem realistic at all. And this is where it gets complex. As time went on, there were different stages in my marriage where Will and I decided we were not together.
Oh, so you and Will decided. Okay.
I was done with your ass.
Yeah, you kicked me to the curb.
I was done with you.
Yeah. And we just didn't want people to know the dynamic of what was happening between us. We didn't think that that was anybody else's business.
And yet here we are.
No topic is off limits as she details going through serious struggles with her mental health.
When I turned 40, I hit a huge wall.
I keep trying to tell you that war is undefeated.
Hit a huge wall. I mean, just a massive amount of depression. As I talked about it in the book, I was introduced to a plant medicine that actually helped me. So Jada talks about how I introduced him to psychedelics. He introduced me to psychedelics. Fact check, yeah.
Jada is finally ready to discuss the shocking incident at the 2022 Oscars between Will and Chris Rock.
The holy slap, the holy joke. I think every summer all the reports would come out that me and Will were getting a divorce. And Chris he thought that we were getting a divorce. So he called me and he was like, hey, you know, basically he was like, I'd love to take you out.
You see? That slap didn't just come out of nowhere. That shit been brewing for a long time.
Aren't you and Will getting a divorce? And I was like, no. I was like, Chris, those are just rumors. He's like, oh my. I mean, he was appalled. You know what I mean? And he profusely apologized, you know, and that was that. But his feelings might have been hurt. I thought it was a skit. Like from where I was sitting, when Chris moved, it looked like he ducked or, you know, he missed the shot. And when he continued to stand, and then when he continued to walk down to the end of the stage, I was like, there's no way. There's no way that Will hit him, right? And it wasn't until Will started to walk back to the chair to his chair that I even realized that it wasn't a skit, right? And so yeah, I was in as much of a fog as anybody else in that room that night. I just remember when Chris came down to the end of the stage and tried to apologize to me. He said, I didn't mean you any harm.
A lot of people might not know, but he proposed to you while he was in jail.
That was probably one of the more painful parts, seeing him there, the condition that he was in, and having to leave him there. And he was in bad shape. He needed somebody to do time with him, which I was going to do anyway. You didn't have to marry me to do time. Because I promise you, he would have married me and divorced me as soon as his ass left jail. He would have.
Yep, I can agree to that.
But so many people in that position don't have support.
Right.
None at all.
None.
You got the best. I see why we love you.
Ladies, don't let that man pander to you, because that's the same guy who left his fiance at the altar because she wouldn't sign a prenup. Here's what I think. What husband is gonna allow his wife to just come out here and embarrass and just completely tarnish his whole legacy like that? Unless the husband is in it. So at this point, ain't no defending Will anymore. So it is what it is. He's the one that keeps allowing this to go down. So I think that nigga Will is gay. In August, probably clapped the whole family. I mean, think about it, right? We already know that August came out as... And also we know that he clapped Jada. You know that boy Jaden is a little susty. And Jaden and August were best friends. Let's not even talk about Willow weird ass. What kind of grown ass man calls another grown ass man Og?
When Og first came around, he was really sick.
Come on, dogs. 2 + 2 is what? Man, this could be a situation where she might just be getting her lick back. I'm not even gonna hold you. It is what it is.
Every week, every day you sitting broke, feels like your life proceeds to leak. Got me weak, strong-minded though, with a blindfold, but I find it dope. Downtime with some come up shit, so when the money calling, I gotta go.